HARLEM. My name is Ebunoluwa Akintibu, an associate in the ICT unit of HARLEM Solicitors. With me here today is B.I.G. Lawal, popularly known as Big Law, the principal partner of HARLEM Solicitors. Glad to have you on the show today, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Sir, we often see these gigantic masts and towers in residential areas. If I may ask, these towers and masts in residential areas, are they permitted under the Nigerian law?
Okay, that's a question of interest to everybody. Chief among NCC's objectives is to create a salubrious and salutary environment for competition among network providers and also encourage efficient quality of service. But how can NCC create an environment for competition and ensure efficient QoS when the law does not allow telecommunication base stations in residential areas? So I would say that telecommunication BTS can be sited in residential areas under the Nigerian laws, provided of course the telecoms operators comply with both the NCA 2003, the subsidiary legislation, particularly the NCC's guidelines for the installation of telecommunications masts and towers 2009, as well as the NESREA's National Environmental Standards for Telecommunications and Broadcasting Facilities Regulations 2011. That is the regulatory framework for the application of preventive, precautionary, anticipatory approaches as regards the avoidance of degradation of coastal and marine environment. So, by the way, NESREA, the National Environmental Standards for and Regulations Enforcement Agency, is a parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Environment, which replaced the Federal Environmental Protection Agency with the enactment of the NESREA Act of 2007.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very insightful. Now, sir, you just mentioned precautionary. That makes me want to ask for the precautions the network operators must put in place in accordance with the provisions of the law, where they want to site BTS sites in residential areas.
Okay, first of all, it must be understood that the 2009 guidelines by the NCC establishes the regulatory stipulations to be strictly adhered to in all situations, whether the BTS site is to be installed in residential or commercial areas. There are copious provisions in the 2009 guidelines in relation to the design and erection of telecommunications masts and towers. This is talking about the regulatory and technical standards which must be used by all operators, fabricators, and even installers of telecommunications towers so as to conform to sound engineering practices. In the same token, I would say that the 2011 regulations of NESREA, by its provisions, ensures that environmental and human health are adequately protected. This is because the regulations apply to all environment impacting activities within the framework of the telecommunication and broadcasting industry in Nigeria. NESREA Act of 2007, for example, also establishes the framework for the establishment of national environmental standards on water quality, air quality, noise, and also noise by prohibiting the discharge in such harmful quantity of any hazardous substance into the air, upon the land, and the waters in Nigeria, except, of course, where such discharge is permitted or authorized under the Nigerian laws.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That was very insightful. Sir, does that mean that NESREA activities also cover the oil and gas sector?
No.
What do you mean?
No. NESREA's regulatory functions do not extend to the oil and gas sector. For instance, the agency cannot and must not conduct any investigation to cover any issues in the oil and gas sector because its sphere of operations and regulations does not cover the sector. And that is one big and major exception stipulated by the NESREA Act of 2007. But it bears repeating that under sections 20 to 27 of the NESREA Act, the agency is specifically empowered to make regulations providing standards on a broad spectrum of environmental matters, including the protection and enhancement of quality control, noise control, environmental sanitation, discharge of hazardous substances, etc. Yes.
Thank you, Biglo. Thank you so much. For clarification, Biglo, now you were talking about precautionary measures put in you expatiate on that?
Okay, to address your questions on precautionary measures, I believe the most fundamental precaution that telecommunications providers must comply with are provided for under the Environmental Impact Assessment Act, which makes it a must for service providers to submit site-specific environmental impact assessment reports to NESREA, making sure that the installation of BTS is not detrimental to environmental protection, public health and safety, or the general welfare, among other things. So the EIA to be submitted must be one drawn up by NESREA accredited EIA consultants and should not be confused with the environmental impact analysis reports usually submitted to the state Ministry of Town Planning. Yes. So I will also go so far as to mention that the 2009 guidelines, among other provisions, says that the BTS can be installed within residential areas as long as they do not exceed 25 meters in height. Where it exceeds 25 meters in height, then approval must be sought and obtained from the NCC. And such mast or tower must be placed at a minimum setback of 10 meters to the nearest demised premises, excluding the fence. In the case of built-up areas, however, a setback of 7.5 meters is allowed under the law. The same setback distance of 10 meters is maintained by the 2011 regulations of NESREA. But the 2011 regulations goes further to say that where there is no fence, the BTS must have a minimum of 12 meters from the wall of residential premises to the base of the tower.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Before we go on, there was this question that popped in my head when we were talking about the setback requirements. Can it be said that radiation is emanating from the BTS site? Possibly even the NCC and NESREA are both aware, and this is why they prescribe setback limits. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, thank you again. Definitely, it is not true that there is no radiation or electromagnetic waves being generated by these sites antennas, because it is the same electromagnetic energy that carries mobile phone signals. But you discover that even you experience more radiation from microwave oven, X-rays, and even from holding mobile phone to your ear. That is why you see some people always using hands-free equipment while receiving calls. There are some phones that generate so much heat when you receive a call for a very long time. So basically, the microwave antenna on the tower, which have higher energy than the cell antennas, are directional antennas, meaning that their radiation is restricted to a narrow band and is focused on a similar antenna on a tower a few kilometers away. In the 2014 reported case of Isiaka Bello and Helios Towers Nigeria Limited, in which I gave evidence, the Court of Appeal in Ado-Ekiti found in favor of the appellant, that is Helios Towers, because the respondent was unable to bring any proof of the injury he claimed to have suffered from the BTS site before the court. You know, the general rule is he who asserts must prove. So he was unable to prove, so he lost on appeal. So if you visit our YouTube page, you will see a video presentation where I spoke extensively on the difference between ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, as well as the position of the World Health Organization, whether BTS sites cause health hazards to human beings or not. So I will therefore state in capsule form that there has been no scientific evidence supporting the general fear that cell phone antennas radiation is harmful. We need to understand that even the NCC actively controls frequencies and monitors the various operators for compliance to the strictest international standards.
Thank you very, very much, sir. That was really insightful and very, very enlightening. Viewers, for more information, please check out our LinkedIn profile, our YouTube channel, and other social media platforms. Stay tuned for our very next episode.